Well, the camera continues to spontaneously start even when I don't have words in my mouth to be able to speak. So let's see how this goes. Since I did that YouTube live stream video, thank you everybody for showing up for that. Since I did that, there has been a lot that has happened that I need to catch you up on. And I think it falls underneath this headline, the headline of biggest collective humanitarian transformation ever. So that's the headline, and let me back up and walk you through all of this so that you know how to be with all of it. Now, a couple of housekeeping items. First, everything I talk about, please discern and use your own intuition. You don't have to buy hook, line, and sinker on everything that I say. I really hope you are using your discernment and intuition on everything. Number two, everything I talk about here is for entertainment purposes only, and any people or events are alleged. Third, thank you to everyone who purchased the What's This New Timeline About? Most everybody got it. Most everybody had a really good experience from it. There were some people who fell through the cracks technologically, digitally. If you are one of those people, please reach out and contact me at dana@somaticmoney.com. I will make sure you get that digital file. I just need the account number on the purchase that you made. I will make sure you get that video. For the most part, Send-Out is a pretty good operation, but there are cracks that I am noticing people are falling through, and I just want to make sure everybody gets the information they purchased and everybody has a good experience from that video. Okay, so let's go from this headliner of biggest collective humanitarian transformation ever, from this headline, back it all the way up so that I can share with you what has happened over about the last 48 hours energetically, emotionally, and physically from what I can tell. So we're going to start from the top. The top is that yesterday, Sunday, February the 2nd, we had a massive light wave come through. I do know part of that was solar. I didn't actually check it, but I could feel it. It's like, oh, that's a lot of solar stuff. I did not check the Schumans. I do not know what is going on with the Schumans. I have a feeling this is like Schumann, solar, and some collective stuff. But by the end of the day yesterday, we were pretty much toast. There was so much light energy, extra energy in the airwaves, and it was very transformative. I was very busy doing what I was doing business-wise. I really didn't catch up and plug in and tune in and notice what was going on until into the evening. When I finally slowed down and connected into what was going on, I was like, holy shit, fill in the blanks. We did a lot yesterday, folks. We did a lot yesterday. And so let me show you this. In one area, we are holding our light line with really dark, nasty, upsetting, damaging stuff like I talked about on the live. And at the same time, we are hitting new heights energetically, light waves, quantum light. We're hitting new high light waves of that at the same time. Being able to monitor and hold that space and be able to do this is like crazy nuts and crazy amazing. So if you can begin to tune into that awareness of like, oh my God, we're holding space with some really tough stuff, and doing that energetically, but at the same time, I'm able to hit new heights with my light energy field and do transformative work. Like, this has never been done before, guys. And if it has been done before, it was a very, 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 very long time ago. We don't have in our data banks how to do this. We are literally making it up as we are going along. Like I've said before, spirit world is watching us, working with us, supporting us, and also taking notes on like, oh my God, look what they're doing is crazy amazing. So when I say you are a pioneer, you are a freaking pioneer in the quantum light, energetic, metaphysical space as you walk physically on the ground in the time that we're in. That was all going on yesterday. Then I went to bed and I kind of got relaxed, and then Spirit Team did what they've been doing recently. They opened up the astral plane. They opened up the astral plane and they said, Dana, look what everybody's doing. And oh my God, my stomach got so nauseous. And there is a whole collective wave of us turning together, getting ready for something. So I've kind of tuned in off and on into the astral plane a couple of times since like the big I-Day event happened, and we kind of threw the rager in the astral field and it looked like it all got trashed and it was just kind of crazy. And I've checked in a couple more times, and it's, been people figuring their stuff out and assimilating. And in the last few days, it was kind of like people just kind of like had arrived at a place. Like it looked to me like all the souls had arrived at a place. It was all kind of stationary. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? And then last night after that huge day, huge wave of light coming through, and also the awful nasty stuff that's been happening, there's a whole huge collection of us beginning to turn together. Okay. And that's what was causing the nauseousness in my stomach. I was like, holy cow, we are collecting ourselves for the storm. We are getting ready to create, and a lot of inner turmoil. Now, I didn't necessarily feel like that was a bad thing. I felt very much like, oh, this is a wave beyond waves of anything we can imagine. So, know in the astral plane, from what I can see, that there is a whole group of us subconsciously already getting ready for something. That's pause for note right there. Now, the other funny ha-ha about this, because like I woke up this morning and kind of checked in again on it. And instead of all of us, like every different soul who are, all the different souls, whoever they are, instead of being clumped together, when I went and checked in on that spot, it was like a whole bunch of people had emptied out and were in a new location, still got that nauseous feeling in my stomach. And the people who were left, oh my God, this is so funny. The people who were left, literally, I heard the word nose pickers. The people who are left just standing around going, I know that's awful and terrible of me, but at the same time, it's kind of funny, dark humor, right? So those of us who are getting ready, somewhere between the big light event into the turning point, by this morning, all of us had left the old scene. We've left the scene. We're already assembling somewhere else, getting ready somewhere else. Now, then that lands us then this morning, meditation, talking with spirit team in my meditation and on my walk. And this is just kind of a collection of everything that I was, seeing and feeling and messaging coming on and thinking and hearing. And one of the things that I can tell all of you is that spirit team was showing me that in our light fields here and the light waves going on, because we're like, light waves are coming in, but we're creating the light waves. There's this whole interdimensional thing happening that's kind of beyond description. But what's going on is that the compression of the dark shadow has been causing us to have to hold our light in a new way, creating a whole new transformation that has never happened before. So, when spirit team has said to us, like, you got to go through this to have the transformation to happen so you can get to the new space, I literally saw that in the quantum light space. And there literally is a transformation happening in our light fields that never would have taken place if it weren't for that compression. So, yes, we are revisiting Nazism in its most awful forms. Yes, we are revisiting racism and legalized prisoner enslavement systems, and we are revisiting the persecution of the LGBTQIA plus community, and we are revisiting women not having body sovereignty. We're revisiting, emphasis on the word, revisiting. We're revisiting all of that, and the universe is going, what's your choice again? What's your choice? What are you deciding? What are you going to stand with? In the worst of the scary shadow, what are you going to stand with? And as we do that, we're having this amazing light field transformation take place, okay? And to put it in another form, for like some of you quantum light field people will totally get that. Some of you won't. Let me move it from the light field into the emotional field. So let's talk a little bit about Brené Brown and her work on vulnerability. This was what was coming up in the walk. So what happens when you get cracked open to your most vulnerable space? What happens when you internally get cracked open to your most vulnerable space? You get really real emotionally with where you are with things. And that's where the transformation happens. You crack open vulnerably in your most real place, and you really get to know who you are with your own truth, with what is going on. You get very real about that. That cracked open, light shining through vulnerable space is the place where the transformation takes place, okay? So as we wake up, we people who are doing a more awakened walk, as we do all of this, we're transforming at really deep cellular code levels, deep light quantum field light levels, deep emotive vulnerable levels. We're doing all of that, and that's what we have been doing for a while. And last night, we reached a turning point with it. All of us doing our individual stuff, and then all that individual stuff connected and created a collective. And what did that collective come through as? It came through as the biggest collective humanitarian transformation. We're doing that right now, folks. Now, at the same time, we know that there are other bigger, larger mechanisms happening. And so part of this movement, the feeling I get is the part of this movement is we are preparing for another really big shift and change. Okay, so before I move on to the next phase of this, just some messages from team of like, now more than ever, it is important to be in the higher vibrational light fields as much as you can on that new timeline, on that new grid. We are now headed into an unprecedented era. So with what I've told you so far, and just that right there, does that seem like we're headed into ultimate dark force destruction? No. So they said, we now head into an unprecedented era. We now kick off a new time. What we're doing right now is unheard of, and choices are being made in the spiritual realm. It's that cosmic vote that I talk about, what I saw last night, what's coming into now. We're all making really big choices individually into the collective, and like there is a whole shifting wave that's happening. So physically, what we are now going to see on the national stage, this is the channel that Spirit Team had for us. They said things are going to begin to happen now. You will not see them. You will feel them as the dragnet tightens. And then, boy, I just had deja vu-ish. Then they said, be on standby for chaos. And I want to be really clear, like we've been living in a certain dark field force kind of chaos. They're not talking about that. When they say be ready for chaos, it's a new kind of chaos that's like upsetting the apple cart. And I kind of find it interesting because the kitty cats in my household they've been rather mischievous over the last week. And like some things have gotten knocked over and some things have gotten broken. And I try not to get too mad, but my human self kind of goes, And the really funny thing is like the lead cat on this, I literally hear him say, they told us to do it, which means like, I know they're in cahoots with Spirit World. Well, guess what? First, the curtain thing happened with the screw and the rod coming down. That actually happened again with like a whole other curtain thing. So the curtain is wanting to get flung open. That's our first sign. I have had a couple instances of the cats knocking things over and breaking things. So things are getting broken right now. Okay, that's what we're living in right now. And the third thing that started happening with the cats is they've started knocking things over and upsetting them. Like a big carton of pens off of my desk getting knocked over. Not things getting broken like they were before, but getting knocked over. So this is what my spirit team has been showing me through physical signs. Curtain getting flung open and things getting revealed. Things getting upset and broken. That's what we're living through right now. And everything getting upset, turned on its head. Well, we're kind of living through that, but I'm thinking the upset thing is this next thing. And this whole thing what Spirit Team really wants to drive home is like, we need to be ready for a level of uncertain chaos that we've never lived through before. And let me put it like this. All of us here in the United States, depending on how long we've been here, because I do want to honor the immigrants and the different layers of generations that we have, we have all generationally been living through a certain ka-chunk of straight white males at the helm every 4 years in a turntable style, and we've all gotten used to, this is the way it is, this is the way it is, this is the way it is. Well, for the first time ever, our contest has been thrown off its axis. We know that for certain. And the person involved with all of this for the first time ever is a diverse female at the potential helm of this. So this is completely upsetting the apple cart. The curtain is beginning to get thrown back. Things are being broken. Everything is kind of getting dumped on its head right now, all of these things. And we need to be ready and aware of, they're saying, the Spirit Team is saying, a certain unprecedented, uncertain wave of chaos that is totally different than what we're living through right now. And there's a feeling from spirit world of be getting your body ready for that as much as you possibly can. I get the feeling of like, expand your light field to a certain degree, pull all appendages in, like you need everything in and accounted for, and be ready to ride some waves. Now, I still think we have a few more days. It still feels like a few more days, and I will give you a couple of markers. Spirit Team is telling me something about Thursday late into the day and into night. That Thursday point of this week is a certain turning point. They're going to have me do a go live this weekend because, quote unquote to them, they're like, we need to talk with everybody to get them ready for next week. So that's something. And there's a feeling of prepare for the next wave. Prepare for the next wave. And not in a bad way. It is ultimately in a good way from what I believe. It is not necessarily going to be an easy ride. And you need to be very clear about seating yourself in your light center, being very aware of feeling your feels and knowing your vulnerabilities and making your emotional choices about what you see going on. That is a very important process of all of this. And feel yourself turn into that new space. Now, here's the other instruction they gave to me. They said to me, Dana, everybody needs to be using their voices. Now that could come in any way, any form, any fashion. Like a lot of times I'm walking around the house going, oh, 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 like I'm activating my voice. I'm doing that. Or if I see something, I'm like, I disagree with that. And I do agree with that. Maybe putting out certain videos if you need to, or if you're in the public sphere and all of a sudden you see that you need to speak up about something, speak up about something. The one thing the Germans made the mistake on when the Nazis came in is everybody got quiet, they shut up and they shut down. We can't do that. What did we find out in that timeline pendulum check that I did a while back? We found out that resistance, pushing out of the cocoon kind of resistance, is the type of energy that we need. And Spirit Team is being very clear that we need to use our voices. And one of the very old quotes that I used to love to share with my clients was, vibration is the root of all creation. So use your throat box or some sort of vibrational frequency to help you vibrate into that new timeline, the new light destiny, the new light grid, into that space, because that is the wave that we want to ride as we continue to see things come undone, because Pluto is writing the script on this, remember? As things continue to come undone, we need to be riding that light wave in a grounded kind of way into that new space, and activating our voice is very, very, very important through this. These are the last two things I want to leave you with. Spirit world wants us to know everything we're doing right now, this changes everything. And taking from the Blue Lotus political running line, we're not going back. So just remember that. This changes everything. We're not going back. And just know that at the places that things are broken, where things are the most vulnerable, that's where things are cracked open for the light to shine through, for us to voice as a collective in that new vibration into the new space. We literally have cracked everything apart. All people involved. We've literally cracked and broken everything apart, right? And when things get cracked and broken apart, it means that new things can begin to come through. So a transformation can happen, and that's what we want to have. We want a transformation to happen, and we can begin to seed in a new direction. That's why the new timeline, anchoring into the new grid on January 22nd, 2025, like so many of us felt, truly is the anchoring point on the new time. We did it in 1987. We did it in 1992-93. We did it in 2012. We did it in October of 2023. We are now doing it again. We are anchoring in new timelines, new light grids, for a new humanitarian collective to move in a new direction. We are doing it right now. It is scary. It is crazy. It is chaotic. It is exciting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a wave of a ride. Make sure you are staying in your light field, doing your work, doing your self-regulation, focusing on that new light field, new timeline kind of space. And we're going to move along into that new direction. We need to stay on standby for this. This is not over. This is actually just getting warmed up really good into the next new space. Okay, so make sure you keep walking forward so that the miracles can meet you along the way. I will see you in the next video. Mwah.